This episode is brought to you by my clothing brand, Son of Man. You can go check it out. Season 2, we just launched it through the show notes in the description, or go to sonofmanskate.co.nz and check it out. Hey guys, just quickly before we get into this podcast, I want to thank you so much for checking it out. If you could help me out though, I've been working really hard on this, and it would mean a lot to me if you could go and leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of the other podcasting platforms. If you could leave a review, that would be absolutely amazing and mean the world to me. So go do that if you can, and anyway, let's get straight into the podcast. Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 12 of the Son of Man podcast. I hope you've been enjoying the podcast so far, and I hope you are all staying safe during this COVID-19 situation. It's currently Sunday morning, and on Monday we're going to be finding out whether we're going to be going to level 2 or not, or when we're going to be going to level 2, which basically means we can have gatherings of under 100 people. So hopefully that'll be as soon as possible, because then we can at least just hang out with the boys again, but not go back to church or youth or anything. But at least we can have life group in actual people's homes and in person and all that sort of stuff, which is going to be amazing. But anyway, today's episode, I want to talk about my first 2 months of investing, and because of the economic, basically what's happening in the economy meant all the shares went down a lot, and it basically means you can buy them at a discount, because they should. Well, I believe that they're going to go back up at some point. It might take a few years, but at some point the shares are going to bounce back, and that's just instant profit right there. So I thought I'd jump into the share market and kind of just give it a whirl and see what happens. So I'm going to be talking about my first 2 months, some stuff I've learned, what I've done, some results. And so yeah, let's just get straight into the episode. And so before we dive into some of the specifics of how much I put in and some of the results I've gotten, I first want to share what my goal is financially, at least. And so basically, my sort of long-ish, we'll see, but my goal at the moment is basically to save for a house. And the whole timing around that is I've still got a year and a half left of university. So about a year and a half. This is my second year. Got to get through this year, and then should hopefully just be one more year until I get my degree. And while I'm doing that, I'm working at McDonald's part-time. It's a good amount of part-time hours. It's like 30 hours a week, which brings in like a decent income. But obviously I'm also running this business as well, which we had a couple profitable months the last couple months. Last month we made $3, and this month we're currently up $5, so there you go. But that's the first time we've actually ever made profit, and my thing with profit is I'm not too phased about it until I leave university. Once I've left uni, it'd be real nice to be making, even if it's just like $100 a month, just to add on just a sort of stable income. If I do want to move out or get a mortgage, then it gives me a little bit of income that I can rely on if I need to. I don't want to. I want to keep it in the business and reinvest it and all that. But it just gives me a little bit more security if I got like a massive loan for a mortgage or something. So basically everything's just leading towards when I graduate uni, basically, because at the moment I don't actually really need money. I'm earning money, and it's kind of just going towards savings and all that until I buy a house, which will probably be end of uni is the plan at the moment. So anyway, getting into investing, I thought I would just chuck in, I think you have to put $250 to get into a fund, and I might make a podcast episode later about the difference between funds and stocks and all that sort of stuff. I might go into more detail about it, but to get into a fund and the platform I'm using, which is Invest Now, it costs $250. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll check that and see what happens. And I put it in the New Zealand top 50. So I'll go into a little bit of detail. What it means basically is the average of the top 50 companies in New Zealand. This fund invests in all of them. And so basically, if one company goes bust or one company goes real well, you're not going to see too much of a difference, because it's on an average over 50 companies. But when the whole economy crashes, you're going to lose a lot of money. But when the economy goes back up again, you're going to make a whole bunch of money. So after the economy crashed, I put in $250. And so my earnings after a first month was $18, which is 7.5%. And to give you a bit of context, I looked it up, and the average growth in shares is probably about 0.5%, maybe 1% if you're lucky in a month. And also thinking about savings accounts, when the economy before it crashed, I was getting about 2.2% in my savings account. So every year, if I had $100 in my savings account, I would finish the year off with $102.20. So to put in perspective, 2% I got 7.5% in 1 month compared to 2% in a whole year. So that's actually crazy. It's only $18, but to make $18 off $250 is actually pretty insane. But I also checked my savings account now, the same savings account, and I'm actually only getting 0.75% a year. So that's I'm actually getting 10 times as much money in a 12th of the time, which is actually crazy if you think about it. But obviously that was just a one-off. The market was doing a whole bunch of things. Everything crashed. It's a unique time. I don't think I'm going to replicate that again this month. I invested in a whole bunch of new funds and stuff, which we can talk about now. So I saw these crazy high returns after my first month. So for my second month, I'm like, let's talk finances real quick. So I originally planned, I put $200 a week in a savings account. Just leave it there. That's what I've been doing for a good few months now, and it's been going great. But after I got those results, I plan to put $50 in a week, just on top of my savings as well, into shares, just to try it out, just to maybe invest a little bit of money, see what happens. But after that first month, I'm like, all right, let's pivot that around, and so I now split it into 125 into each, so 125 into shares and 125 into savings. And as I said, my time frame is I want to have as much money as possible in about a year and a half, basically. And so to do that, I thought I would invest more money because I'm seeing returns there. But the closer I get to that time frame, I might start rolling back off the shares a little bit and start putting some more money into a savings account just to keep it liquid. In a savings account, you're not going to lose money. It's not going to go up by a lot, but you're not going to lose it. And in shares, it's kind of going up and it's going down all the time. And over a long period of time, you basically almost guaranteed to make money in shares. But in a short term, it's going up and down all the time. So as the closer we get to me wanting to buy a house, I'm basically going to put less money in shares, so it'll be less risky, and just put more into my savings account so I can get a deposit. And one last thing I want to talk about quickly before we finish up is about those savings accounts, actually. So as I said, at the moment, I'm only getting 0.75% interest in my savings account, and that's with all the reward interest. That's if I don't take any money out for like 3 months or something. That's how much I'm getting every year, which is like not a lot. So I went on Invest Now, which I said that's where I built my shares from and everything. And turns out you can get term deposits as well. And I found there's this term deposit for 6 months where you get 2.6% interest. So it's like a safe way of putting money in. It's not shares, so it doesn't go up and down. You're guaranteed 2.6% in 6 months, and so it means I can't touch my money for 6 months' time. But it's also a guaranteed return that's higher than my savings account. So it's sort of a safe way if you know when you need your money to get a little bit more money out of it. But if you might need that money, then it can be a bit risky. But anyway, that's been my experiences so far. I might talk a bit more about investing, about how to get started, how to sign up, where to do it, some tips for what to look for and all that in a future episode. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's all I've got to talk about for my first 2 months of investing. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys learned something out of it. There'll be another podcast coming out later this week, so make sure to stay tuned and subscribe for that, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Hey guys, it's Paul. I just want to thank you guys so much for making it all the way to the end of this podcast. I put a lot of effort into these, so it really means the world to me when you guys enjoy these and leave me messages all about how amazing they are. If you could do me one favor though, just leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening this, whether it be on Spotify or Apple or any other of the podcasting platforms. It would really mean the world to me. I'm really trying to get on that new and noteworthy list, so if you want to join with me, you can do that. Or another thing would even be just take a screenshot of the podcast, chuck it up on your Instagram, whether you leave a review or just screenshot and chuck it on your story. I'll make sure to repost it on Instagram and all our social media accounts. So check us out on social media, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace out.